Yeah, hey Sean. Unfortunately there's no class for classics in WRC, so we'll do one KNRC probably, and then just focus on getting ready for classic at the end of the year. It's turning out to be a really good event. Should be really good. We have a 240RS sponsored by Minty. We're doing some development work, and then just help them a little bit with their plans for the cars for the rally, for the other Nissans they're going to be entering. And we had a pretty good test for ARC. It was working very, very well. Then we had a silly distributor cap issue, which unfortunately put us back quite badly. But it was a good rally. The car was working good, it's pretty fun.
Saw the excitement when you got the news about the 240RS. In terms of nostalgia, what did it mean to you being approached by Minty Motorsport?
Yeah, it was really nice. Before we've been struggling by ourselves. We had a very good sponsor with Liquid, but since then, the next sponsor let us down a bit, and it's very hard in this current climate to get a good sponsor. So it was just great. Solves a lot of issues, that's for sure. Nice to be part of a team, and they've been really great so far to us.
From your point of view, you wanted to take part in the Safari, you wanted to drive this. What happened in terms of you not being able to enter the Safari?
There's no class for classic cars, and there's no class for SPV, which our Nissan pickup is. So unfortunately, renting or borrowing a car was not really realistic. But I think it's going to be a great event, and I think it's maybe even fun to watch.
It's returning after 19 years. For you personally, how important is it that the WRC is back in Kenya?
Yeah, it's just something that always was here, that Kenyans took for granted. It's such an important part for the country, for motorsport in general, for all the up-and-coming drivers. It's a brilliant thing. I mean, good on all the organisers. Poor old Supi. He started it, and then all the people who've been carrying on with it. What a great effort! It's and it's a lot of fuss and bother these days, that's for sure. It's kind of strange how much they're putting into some things, but if that's what it needs to get it back, then good luck to them. Do it all and do more. Let's get it back and try and keep it.
It seems to be very different this time because there's big government support for it. How important is it that the government's involved in it?
I think the current situation with WRC, I think it's not possible for any company to run a rally with the budgets required. I mean, it's a crazy amount of money, and the government is great. They've been very supportive, and but they'll get it back for tourism and awareness for the country worldwide. I think the power stage is on like live TV. It'll be watched by millions of people. So it's a lovely place. Puts Kenya on the map. It's great.
Ian, international motorsport appears to be in a good place here. You've got the Classic later this year as well, of which there's a different group of people managing it. We see Minty along with the Tundos managing this. Very different to previous Classics. Can you tell us how different it is this time?
Yeah, that's the main thing about the Classic. It was really struggling for entries. They lost the plot a little bit with some things, but new management. The Tundos are always great at organising fun rallies. But Minty has new drive, new enthusiasm, and they're looking at putting it back how it should be. How the fact they're already full of entries means it's on the right track. I think it'll be a really fun event.
We'll go to the Safari Rally in just a moment. No doubt you've been following on social media. Last year, it seems to have calmed down a bit. This year, the National Championship appears to be struggling a little bit in terms of entries. Your thoughts on that? Do you think there's too much focus on the Safari Rally at the moment?
It's easy to say that if you're not involved. I think KMSF need to have two teams, one for doing WRC and one for doing KNRC, because I think it's not possible to manage to do all of that. It's like the WRC is a humongous amount of work, and then they have forgotten about the KNRC a little bit. And then they tried to squash all the events in the calendar. I'll be surprised if people can do all of those. I think that's a bit too many to do. But hey, they're trying. It's fine.
Yeah, you're speaking about that. The calendar just came out this week. We're seeing
Yeah.
3 events very, very close. It's going to be a struggle after the safari because people, particularly those taking part in the safari, are investing so much in the safari.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit much. Everyone will need a rest. The organisers, all the people who have entered, they're going to need I'd have thought maybe 6 weeks before the next rally. But anyway, it's not fixed in stone. I'm sure they can change some or get rid of some events. I'm sure it'll change.
In terms of the safari, many of these drivers have not rallied in Africa before. Do you think that will make a difference? We saw in Portugal, I think only 4 WRC cars finished the event. What do you think will happen next week?
I think they're all pretty clever. I think there'll be quite a few having issues, but yeah, it's short. They'll come and do recce. They're professionals. It's not the 5-6 days round and round the countryside, and you do recce like weeks in advance. Here they're going to come, but it's going to get churned up because it's dusty, and I doubt it's going to rain somehow. It's going to change a bit, but not drastically. I don't think it'll be so bad.
The likes of Flash, Baldy have very intimate knowledge of that area. There's also people like Tejveer and all. Home advantage, do you think that'll be a factor in terms of them finishing high up?
Oh yeah, for sure. But no matter how good they are, they're not going to race a WRC car that's having a good run. If a WRC cars have issues, then they're going to be there. But a WRC car driven slowly is still way quicker than any R5 or R4 can go.
Ian, let's talk about your memories of the safari. First of all, that rally, 1994. Just tell us what memories still stick with you up to today.
Yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, to win the rally was really great. That's something we tried to do for years and years. It was something that every person wants to do. We did a lot of work with Toyota. It's a big thanks to them. AVA did tons of testing, and all of that is good memories. It's like with being with a proper works team, being involved. It's not just the rally, but a lot went into the scenes, but behind the scenes. And then there was some great people in Toyota. AVA helped a real lot. It's something we'll never forget.
You were involved with Toyota before. Can you just tell us how you got involved with them in the first place?
We started off rallying many moons ago in a Nissan pickup when Jan Tunis was involved with that, and then he moved to Toyota. So then we ended up with a Toyota saloon and a panel van, and then when the Group B cars were banned in Europe, then there was a deal with AVA and Toyota Kenya that we ran a Group B car. Which I think could even be the same one sitting in the showroom, because the deal was that they gave some out to the world. You could rally them and buy the spare parts, but you had to give them back. So we made a good effort to give it back in better condition than we took it, and that was the start of that relationship. So then one year TT they gave us the recce car GT4, which was going quite fast for a while. And we had some issues. And then we did lots of testing with Toyota. So it's many months of testing and being with those guys. It was really something good.
You've always had a strong relationship with them. 1994 came. Probably the most famous thing about the car is the flying sausage, Farmer's Choice. How did that partnership happen?
TT always needed some excuse to give a Kenyan a car. So we had to find local sponsorship. So between AVA and Toyota and Farmer's Choice, then that's what they came up with. It was, everyone was laughing at us to start off with, but at the end of the day, actually, we had the last laugh. So it's pretty cool.
In fact, right up to today, the Safari sausages still has your image on it.
Exactly.
Do you still see that when you go?
Sometimes, yeah.
Was there any agreement made at that time? Do you still get some royalties from that at all?
No, there's nothing serious like that.
What's your favourite memory of the Safari in years gone by? Surely the victory must stand out for you.
There's so many, yeah. For sure that victory stood up, and then also with a classic Safari, we have lots of memories of that, and then also with cars that we've made here locally, you know, with experience. So there's lots of memories. It's just really sad that but the world had to change. Kenya changed, and we lost the event. Okay, the last safari was an abortion. The WRC wannabe in 2001 or 2002, but yeah, that was pretty sad. But I think it's back. Let's just make the most of it, and I think they've done a great job. I think a bit of brains and environmental friendliness might be needed. It's like we all have a bad environmental footprint anyway, but I think we could cut down on it a little bit for WRC, but then that's more WRC than Kenya. We have to follow what they want to do, and then but yeah, it'd be great to get it back. Everyone is excited. There'll be thousands of people around. It should be really good.
With COVID, we saw what happened last year, and it was hugely disappointing. I know you were one of the people agitating for rallying to come back. I think you guys didn't rally for at least a year. But when you see Naivasha, Elementaita, Nakuru sold out right now, particularly from the local market, how pleased does that make you feel in terms of how the locals have embraced the Safari Rally?
No, it's really great. It's something that the country's been missing, you know, as like you said, for 19 years, and there's still lots of memories. So we probably wouldn't have been ready properly last year anyway, so it might have helped get a bit more organized. And then it's just, you have to be careful, wear masks, sanitize, and there's a whole bunch of things people have to do and be responsible. Kenya's been very good with the COVID things and good with vaccinations, so let's hope it all works well and there's nothing bites.
It had been coming for a couple of years. The Safari was on the edge. Just tell us your feelings 2002. First of all, that event, and then when you heard that we had lost the WRC.
It was hardly a surprise. I think the organisers should have been locked in jail because they denied Kenya its heritage. But yeah, but the world changed, FIA changed, Kenya tried to change. In some ways, but maybe they shouldn't. Who knows? Hindsight's always things. But we've learned from that. Let's move on. We have a nice new service park. Not so sure the tarmac's very good for the environment, but but yeah, it looks beautiful there. I think hopefully all the WRC people are very happy.
Looking at the route, a lot of it was used in the Equator Rally. How beautiful is it out there? And in terms of scenery, what we'll see on TV, how important is it for the country?
Oh, brilliant. It's the best thing ever. I mean, it's all, we did an enduro in Kidong the other day. There's so many animals. I've never seen so many animals there in one time. It's just, Soisambu's always very, very pretty. The other places, the finish at Hell's Gate, I mean, that'll be just beautiful. So, yeah, it'll be really nice, I think. Hopefully it rains a little bit to get rid of some of the dust. I don't know, let's just pray it rains, that's all it is.
In theory, you don't have anything left to prove as such. Is it more for fun these days, or is it more of a budget issue? Would you prefer to have, say, another Evo 10, try and race these guys, Flash and company?
An R5 would be nice to do 1 or 2 rallies, but you're right, it's mainly for fun. It's don't want to do all the rallies, it gets a bit stressful, whether we had budget or not. We don't want to do all the rallies. So some are great to do, some are not so great. But yeah, it's just to go and have fun and enjoy, and if we can still drive fast, why not?
If you had an R5 at your disposal or an Evo R4, would you do all the rallies if you had the sponsorship? Is the hunger still there?
Who knows? Probably, yeah. If it was competitive, we probably would. But I'm not saying for sure. But
so in theory, if you had the R5 or R4, you'd still be eager to rally every month?
I mean, an R5 is more competitive than an R4. I mean, it's just that Baldy and Flash, we're just going crazy and managing to win rallies. Bit on reliability, bit on like extreme speed. Yeah, if there was an R5, but they're very expensive, a lot of money to maintain, need a lot of maintenance. If you're going to buy one of those, then it'd be silly not to use it.
We're seeing births of super teams, so to speak. Menengai Group, there's other people we're seeing investing now with the Safari Rally, possibly afterwards as well. How difficult is it becoming for the average person to keep up with the top 10, so to speak, now?
The top 10 is, for your average person, is pretty much impossible. Unless you have access to unless you're a very good driver and have access to some very good equipment, reasonable equipment. What they need to do is encourage. They need a local kind of encouragement class, maybe Division 3. I mean, it's basically to get prizes for driving slowly is Division 3. Maybe they need to do that, and then have like you can have expired seat belts. You can have an expired seat. You don't have to. Of course, they have to be safe. They have to be in excellent condition. But just because it has a date, a sell-by date that's gone by, then we need to encourage people that they can actually afford to come and start rallying on a lower budget. At the moment, you can buy a cheap old rally car, but then by the time you bought all that up-to-date equipment, it's beyond the reach of a lot of people. That's where they need to look at. Yes.
And then with COVID, how has that changed now, the scenario? Probably not even for rallying, but for sports in terms of sponsorships, being able to keep up with everybody?
I mean, the whole country's struggling. The whole world is struggling. So Kenya's not doing too badly. I think they've done a great job. Unfortunately, all the people running hotels and tourists orientated, the local people will really be suffering because no one can pay them for a year to go and sit at home. So the country is suffering, and then the first thing they're going to cut back on is advertising, motorsports, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's hard. It's like people. I doubt many people their business is thriving. A lot of people, we just survive, and then maybe next year will be better. The year after that will be slightly better. So yeah, you ask people to pay lots of money for a car. It's not fair, and they're just going to laugh at you anyway. So that's the problem. We need like a cheap form of rallying that people can do.
From a personal point of view, motorsports is your life. We know you started out on bikes as well. Just tell us a bit about your life outside of rallying.
Yeah, I mean, like motorsport is my life. Bikes, you can go and play on the weekend. We do a lot of fun trail rides, cruises. Did an enduro the other day. Just turn up and ride and have fun. Not very competitive. There's rally race we can play with a buggy. So that takes a lot of the time. It's like it's.
I was very impressed. You built the buggy last year during the COVID, during the lockdown. Just tell us a bit about that. You have started doing the odd autocross again now.
Yeah, I mean, I had that Group N Evo 10. We had an awful lot of spares for that, and then really struggled to sell it because it's a bit old. Group N, everyone wants an R4 and R5. Like left-hand drive, I never realized that people were so anti-left-hand drive, which actually I prefer. So then I sold the car without the spares, and so 80% of the spares we actually had. So we just used that, made a frame, did that, and it was a fun project to do when there was not a lot else to do. There was no rallying, not a lot of customers, so yeah, we have to do something to keep amused.
I know a lot of the younger drivers still really hold you in high esteem, and one of the things you've been doing the last couple of years is showing up at these TT races, on the track. You've come and actually raced with them as well. What's prompted you to go and join them at these races?
It's always fun to go and play on a tarmac racetrack. What this country seriously is lacking is a proper Formula One type of racetrack. Too many people go cowboying around on the roads, then it bites them. People have invested in a kart track. You're already halfway to a proper racetrack. So it's a little bit try to encourage that. It's also really fun to go and play on a racetrack. Is awesome. So that a little bit. What's great about that is that because it's all slow speed, people can buy a helmet and a car and have a road car and almost go and play. And that's where rallying is missing out. But people the safety things to start with is the same as being a top driver. So that's something that needs to seriously be addressed.
Did you give them any advice? They haven't got a good reputation, but we do know they try from a safety point of view in terms of organisation. Did anything stand out for you in terms of...
If something is wrong, for sure I'm going to help them. But no, they did a great job. I've been to two. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the safety they were doing. It's pretty... being a kart track with a car on there, it's pretty slow speed. So, your accidents, if they have any, are going to be very slow. It's one car at a time. I think maybe what might be fun is to have like 5 buggies on the track at once, but that could be fun. And then, we just go from there. I'm always happy to help with people and advice and whatever. It's like we need encouragement. But then some people, if they don't want to listen to it, then it's fine. It's not a problem.
All right, okay. Ian, just finally, in terms of the Safari Rally, first of all, I want your predictions. How do you think it's going to pan out by the end of next week? Do you have any predictions? Who do you think is going to prevail in this return to the WRC?
Who knows? I think Ogier, Elvin Evans. I think they will do well. Anyone with a bit of brains, but that's their profession, and they're not going to mess it up. It's like it's.
Finally, a message for the fans, people going. There's a lot of excitement for the Safari, but obviously, you probably maybe give a message in terms of safety and.
I mean, everyone knows. Just go watch. Be careful. Don't drink and drive. I think what the Safari needs to do is to be a bit more helpful of where people actually can go. Maybe a bit more advice on that, and then how to organise it. Because everyone wants to go watch, and no one knows whether they can or not. And everyone knows. You get people that go drinking. You can tell them 200 times, don't go drinking. They're going to do it. So it's maybe more controls needed. Checking people don't come with alcohol. Don't let people sell alcohol in spectator areas. And yeah, as long as the rally is okay and no one can get anywhere near it, it's like, you just make people park and dig a big ditch to stop them from physically being able to cross with their cars. It's like, because at the end of the last rallies, some people late in the evening were driving around the rally route. That has to be stopped, and I think they've learned from it. People are pretty clever. It's like it.
Ian, we really appreciate you, of course, allowing us inside.
Cool. No, welcome. Yeah.